Hey, what's up, everybody? Star35 here, bringing you guys a quick video commentary. I hadn't done one of these in a while, but I just wanted to bring you guys a quick video. Just wanted to talk about, a couple more of the systems I'd like to collect for sometime in the future, maybe. Because if you guys seen some other videos, as y'all know, I'm a video game collector. I like to, collect just different types of video games. Mainly just what interests me and whatnot, what games I want to play on different systems and all that. Whether just wanted to check out some others, or collect for the system I have now, plus collect for some other systems that I didn't have at the time or whatever, and just see what games I missed out on, because I just like doing it. It's fun. I love physically owning games and consoles and all that. So might as well get this little list started. It's not a whole lot of things or whatever, just stuff here and there. One of the systems I like to collect for is the original Xbox. I've kind of had interest in the original Xbox for a while. I just never had one. Like back in that time when with that gen, the current gen of systems back then, I mainly gamed on the PS2, and then later on in that era I got a GameCube and played some stuff on that. But most of the time, I was playing on the PS2 and all that, and I kind of had interest in a couple of the Xbox exclusives that were on there. That some of them being like the Blinks games, Blinks the Time Sweeper. He plays like that cat that can control time and all that. I always thought that game was pretty interesting. I wanted to play that. A while back, I found out about the Otogi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Otogi, whatever. Games that are made by From Software. Those look interesting. Another game I remember hearing about a lot back then was like Jade Empire. There's another game that looked really interesting. I thought that looked cool, but it was none of those games are ever on the PlayStation, so I never really got to play them. And then that Voodoo Vince game, which just recently got remastered for the Xbox One, I thought that looked like an interesting platformer too. But like I said, that also never came to the PS2. So that's mainly what I'm looking for. Collecting an older systems like that. I'm not trying to get a complete collection of anything or get a set of something, whatever. I just usually if I there's a system I want to collect for, I just spend some time looking up videos and stuff about all the different exclusives on that system. Something I couldn't or cannot get on the PS2 or something like that. Just true exclusives for that system. I'll just look them up and see whichever one's interesting to me. Then I'll write it down in like a list. I've already compiled a list of some of the original Xbox exclusives that I want, so I'm gonna start collecting for that pretty soon. So y'all probably see some videos of me of some pickups with the original Xbox games, which I can't wait to get into that while they're still cheap. Always that's another thing I like about the original Xbox. The games, people say are pretty cheap and easy to collect for. So that's nice. Cause I hate. That was one thing I hate about collecting is like the prices of some of these games are just freaking ridiculous. But that's a good thing about the original Xbox, that it's the game. Most of the games, at least, are still fairly cheap. Another system I would like to collect for in the future one day would be the Sega Genesis. I never had a Sega Genesis growing up either. I've seen stuff about it and all that. A lot of the games on there look pretty interesting. Some of them being like the Valis games. I think the Valis games are a little on the pricey side, I think, but they aren't too bad. At least the last I was aware of the price, they weren't. But like, not all three Valis games. There's like Valis 1 and like maybe Valis 3 or something like that are the ones I want to play. But I've always thought that those Valis games looked interesting. There's this game I found out about a while back called Alien Soldier. That looks intense. If y'all haven't seen it, go look up Alien Soldier gameplay for the Sega Genesis. That game looks intense and crazy. So that was like a lot of fun. I would like to hopefully have that as well. And then another example would be maybe like Golden Axe or something like that. There's a couple other ones. I haven't really made a list yet because I don't plan on, because I haven't really planned on starting collecting for the Genesis yet. Like I said, it's most likely going to be the original Xbox right now, but sometime in the future I'll probably look through some of the Sega Genesis games and see what interests me out of the titles on that and pick some up. Those were just like a small list of a few examples of what I'm looking for. And lastly, the system I want to collect for was the Sega Dreamcast, because that system. I think I never owned a Dreamcast, but I think I did play like Crazy Taxi on it a long time ago. At a friend's or something like that. At a friend's house a long time ago. Another system I want to collect for is the Dreamcast, because a lot of the games on that look really interesting. They're like a lot of old school Sega arcadey type games, which are games I like. I really like arcade type games and stuff like that. They have like the arcadey look and feel to them, just straight out of the '90s. But yeah, I'm really wanting to collect for the Dreamcast as well. Some games on there, like Making X, is like that first person game where you have like a sword and you can kill enemies and I think take them over or something like that. I can't really remember exactly all that much about it. I just, watched some gameplay of it. I thought it looked pretty cool. Another one that looks interesting to me is Dynamite Cabo. It's like a really fun beat 'em up, which is, I think it's supposed to be somewhat of a sequel to Die Hard Arcade, which is another game I want. I might try to get like the Sega Ages import of Die Hard Arcade for the PS2 one day, because I remember playing Die Hard Arcade in the arcades a long time ago, very few times, but it was really fun. Glad that game got like kind of somewhat of a home release, but I would like to play that. But I also want to get Dynamite Cop on there, and another one to be like KO or Cow the Kangaroo, which is like a 3D platform replaces Kangaroo. I actually didn't know it started out on the Dreamcast. I have KO Round 2, the Kangaroo or whatever for the GameCube, but at that time I didn't know it started out on the Dreamcast. So when I found that out, I was like, oh, if I ever start collecting for the Dreamcast anytime soon, that's definitely one I would like to go for, is that one, to play the original and see how that is. Alright, and now on to, a couple systems that, I would like to collect for, but I'm probably not going to, mainly just because due to the freaking prices of some of the games on these said systems, because you ever looked at the prices on some of these systems I'm about to list? Woo boy! One of the systems is the Sega Saturn. That I like a lot. I like the Sega Saturn. I like the way the games on there look. They look pretty interesting. I like the long box case designs for all the games that come out on it and all that. I've seen gameplay and just found videos and stuff about just various different games that were on the Saturn. I'm like, you know what? These look really cool and like a pretty interesting system to collect for, but Jesus Christ, the prices of some of these games is ridiculous. And it's not like I'm even trying to like find or just buy the games that are expensive. It's just so happens the games that look interesting to me are the ones that are like really expensive. Like, it's just outrageous. Like, there's this one game called like Three Dirty Dwarves. I've never even heard of that one before, but it looks like a fun 3-player co-op type game. I don't think I think it's not like the highest, most expensive Sega Saturn game, but I think it might be up there or getting up there anyway. But that's just one example I can think of off the top of my head. And another system I'd like to collect for, it probably won't do the price, is the Super Nintendo. There's a couple, not every Super Nintendo game is expensive, but a lot of at least the ones that look really interesting, or a few of the ones that look interesting are pretty up there in price, so that kind of sucks. Unless you just get like a reproduction cards, which that's fine. I mean, if I do end up getting games for the Super Nintendo, I might just have to buy reproduction cards of a few of them, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with reproduction cards. It's just that I don't want to have a system and have like the vast majority of the games just be reproduction cards. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would like to have like the actual legit copy of some games on there, but Jesus Christ, the freaking prices of some of these games is outlandish. Like, there's this one game I found out about a long time ago. I think it's called like Hagane. I think that's how you say the name of it. I'm like, oh man, this game looks pretty interesting. It's on the Super Nintendo. If I ever want to get games for the Super Nintendo, this may be one game I might want to try to play because it looks interesting. It's supposed to be hard as heck. Boy, let me tell you, when I looked up how much a legit card of that game costs, woo! Good lord, them prices ain't even right. It physically hurts to see a video game cost that much. I'm gonna try to put the name of the game up on the screen, just in case you guys wanted to look the game up yourself. It's called Hagane on the Super Nintendo. Lord have mercy. It don't even make sense for a video game to be costing that much. That's exactly the type of stuff I'd be talking about. I never even heard of the game before. I just saw a gameplay of it one time a while back. I was like, wow, this game looks cool. I decided to look up, see how much it costs out of curiosity. I was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. Heck, even the reproduction for it goes for like I think 40 or 50, I think. But yeah, that's just a couple of systems that like I would like to, but probably won't because of the freaking prices are outlandish. But you know, the three systems I listed earlier, the original Xbox, the Sega Genesis, and the Sega Dreamcast are all systems I hope to collect for eventually. Like I said, I'm not trying to get like a full set or a full collection of anything. Just, you know, a couple games here and there that interest me out of the exclusives for said system. You know, just like I said, I did with the original Xbox. Just look up the exclusives for it. Just pick out which ones look interesting to me, and just add them to the collection to hopefully play one of these days. But yeah, that's just a few of the systems that interest me in the collecting aspect, and just, you know, either I've heard of them before and I've never had the system, or I just wanted to, you know, go back and play them and see what I missed out on and all that. But that's StatMac35, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm out. Peace.
What